Have you ever wondered how athletes overcome and bounce back stronger from injuries? Well, in this video, I'll be going over ways that I overcame injuries and key things that will help you out if you're dealing with injuries as well. Me personally, I've dealt with 3 injuries in my life that were pretty big injuries to me. Well, it could be pretty big injuries to anybody. I've dealt with 3 knee injuries. The first one starting when I was in like 6th grade, which was crazy because I was so young. I've had 2 kneecap dislocations, and I tore my meniscus one time. I had 1 kneecap dislocation on my left knee and meniscus on my left knee, and 1 kneecap dislocation on my right knee. To a lot of people, that would sit them down, but for me, I overcame them, was just strong, and I just pushed myself to get back better. And so with that, I learned a lot of things. I learned stuff about myself mentally, stuff about myself physically, and stuff about people around me, the people like my support team and teammates and just family, how they just helped or didn't help, you know. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is recovery and rehab. One thing I'll tell athletes is to take your rehab serious, because that's one thing I took for granted when I was young. That first injury when I was in 6th grade, you know, you just want to get back playing with your friends and buddies, and you just don't want to be hurt and sitting down looking at your buddies, you know, at recess or just playing in general. You just missed out on everything. So in my recovery process, I know like I was trying to rush through it, like I was lying to the trainers and all that, tell them that I wasn't hurting when really I was, and doing the extra stuff when I was away from the rehab place and stuff like that. And now I had to pay for that later. I'll say, like, when you're doing your rehab, just take everything serious and just focus on the little things, all the little muscles. Like, you're gonna be doing little bitty stuff that you're gonna be like, why am I doing it? But it's all building up every type of muscle around you. Like for me, my knee was hurt, but I was doing stuff to help my hip, my ankles, and everything, because all those things play a part. I was doing a lot of stuff for my hamstrings, because if those muscles are weak, then that's gonna cause more knee injuries. You never understand why you're in it, but just trust the process. And then I say, once you're done doing that, and like you're done with the recovery process, like, or the rehab process, the thing you should take more serious is like your prehab. So you do rehab, but prehab is stuff you do before practice, before your workout, anything that you do in high activity in. So like for me, I even do stuff before I'm playing a little pickup game in the rec. I do extra exercise because I know my body has been through a lot, and so I might do more stuff than what someone else has to do. And I'm perfectly fine with that, because I know my body is something that I have to take care of. So prehab, you get on the bike for a little 10 minutes, foam rolling. You might get in a hot tub before you work out. Just do a little extra stretching, like glute activation, ankle mobility, getting your calves stretched out. All those things will help you out in the long run. And then afterwards, you have the things that will help you out too. So for me, I get in like Normatex or the compression boots. I do red light therapy. I do cryotherapy, saunas. All that will help your body feel better afterwards. And that's just better in the recovery process. Another thing that will help with overcoming injuries is you prioritizing nutrition. And I've talked about this before in multiple YouTube videos. I take nutrition very seriously. I'm one of those guys that believe in eating whole foods, fruits, things like that. You can't really, as an athlete, take all that stuff into consideration, because we have different needs than just the average Joe, the people who aren't athletes. So, you know, they be doing these certain type of diets where they're eating no carbs, they're not eating no sugar and all that. But as an athlete, you need that. Your body needs carbs to fuel yourself during workouts, during games, practices, whatever. So like, you can't restrict that. You can restrict it a little bit, but you can't just completely take carbs away. Things you put in your body does matter. So you eating junk food, you eating processed foods, you drinking all these sodas, you're out drinking, you're out smoking, those things are gonna harm your body, and it's not gonna help your injuries or body progress in this way. It's gonna keep you either flat, level, or you're gonna be going down. So like I said, we're trying to overcome these injuries, so we're doing things that's gonna only help us elevate in a positive motion, and not just gonna keep us stagnant in a negative way. Another thing I'll say that will do you good is stretching mobility. So things like yoga and Pilates will help you in the long run. I like to do Pilates more than yoga, because Pilates is actually a challenge, and I'm getting both a stretch and a workout at the same time. If you haven't tried Pilates, I would highly recommend it. Men, don't be afraid to go do Pilates. There's nothing wrong with Pilates. If you're like me, I do private sessions with me and another football player, or just be me in there. So you can get one-on-one sessions, and you won't be scared to go in there. Pilates, you get a good stretch, and you're working your core the whole time. And as an athlete and a football player, your core is super important in the game that we play. So I'm getting 2-in-1, and like I said, it's fun. It can borderline become a hobby, as it has for me. So check out Pilates. But if not, you can always do yoga at home. You can go to a yoga instructor, or just do stuff at your football facility. Ask your strength coaches for yoga things to do. There's also things that I do, like hip flexor work, ankle cars, hip cars and ankle cars, stuff for your neck, shoulders. There's all these things that will help you out. Just loosen up your joints so you can move. You know, when people get hurt, say they tear their ACL, sometimes that's a movement problem, but you being more loose in your legs and hamstrings will help that out as well. And the last thing I want to hit on for overcoming injuries is like getting over the mental aspect. Once you get hurt, like, that's gonna mess with your mental, especially in a high contact sport like football. For me, I just practice and train really hard to get back to how I was, but even better. You know, people say when you get hurt, you're gonna come back even stronger. That is true, because you're gonna practice and it's like I said, train your body to get better and to not let that happen again. For me, I didn't want nobody to count me out, because I felt like once I got hurt, like the second or third time, people doubted me and was thinking like, hey, he's not gonna be the same person like he was before. But I just was like, nah, I'm that same person but better. The hardest thing I know for me was doing those same movements and stuff that got me hurt. But that's the thing that you need to do. You need to practice those movements that got you hurt if you can. Some stuff is contact, but a lot of my stuff is non-contact, like cutting and stuff like that. So for me to get over the mental hump and to trust myself fully, I did those things that got me hurt. So me running full speed and cutting, I had to keep doing that over and over and over again to just get over that hump. Because if not, when you're in game, you're going to be thinking about that when you're not supposed to. So you want to move without thinking. So do those things that got you hurt to get over that mental block. If you got injured, it's not the end of the world. Just stay focused and true to yourself. If you're a believer in God, pray that he brings you back stronger, which he will. And I'm speaking from experience. And just stay positive. Don't be down on yourself. Don't be negative, and everything's going to be okay at the end.